there used to be the Axis and Allies powers, and the Axis powers were Germany and Japan and Italy and all those that fought for, the Axis powers of Hitler, okay? That axis is now called Crink, and Crink, C, China, R, Russia, I, Iran, and NK, North Korea. Crink, okay? And that is this authoritarian group of states and scholars and strategists and everything else that are growing this anti-Western coordination, and they have shared interests. They're not working all in lockstep, but they work together. It's not a formal alliance like NATO or the Warsaw Pact, but it is shorthand to understand who is on the opposing side of the West, okay? Now, why is this relevant? Because as we look to Iran in this conflict, what is he doing? Well, by taking out Iran, China loses all of that oil that they must have. They're also sending tech to Iran, which will help Iran even slave more people. But also they are sending supersonic missile technology, and they're working with Iran on that, okay? You've got to stop that. So you've hurt Iran with its financial, with its energy, with its oil. Russia, they need the Russian oil for money. They sell their oil. They also work with Iran to get all of that oil to China. But more importantly, with Russia, they build all of Russia's drones. So when you look at the Russian drones, knowing that they're all coming from Iran, this takes that out, which helps then the war in Ukraine. Dugin just said, think of this. Dugin just said, Alexander Dugin, he was called Putin's brain for a while. He just said that if Iran falls, Russia falls as well. Now, in a way, I hope that's not true because I don't want more destabilization, but I do want the teeth pulled out of that tiger. Okay? So by hurting Iran, you are also trying to solve that. You don't think he's going to have more leverage? You know that Putin called Trump this weekend and said, hey, let's sit back down at the table and talk about Ukraine. Okay? It's already starting to happen. This guy is like a nuclear chain reaction. He does one thing and all of these other things happen because of that. All these dominoes start to fall. And if you don't, you can disagree with that, but not that that is happening. You can disagree with, I don't think that's the right thing to do, or I don't think it's going to work out, whatever. But you cannot deny that all of these things are connected, or you're not worth talking to because you're not thinking deeply enough. Okay. Just last week, we found out that India was switching. It's always played this middle ground, hey, I'm friends with Russia. Oh, Russia, I'm friends with the United States. And they've played us back and forth for a long time. Trump just got them to come into our camp. Now, why is that important? Because you've been hearing the dollar is going to fall, and China and Russia and the BRICS nations are trying to create their own currency to collapse the American dollar. Have it stop being the world's reserve currency. Who is the one that started BRICS? It's the I in BRICS, India. They're now on our side. Plus, you look at Venezuela. What did he do in Venezuela? What did he just say about Cuba? It looks like Cuba is in so much trouble, they may just say, hey, can we make a deal with the United States? That takes Cuba and Venezuela out of the China and the Russia camp. Are you beginning to see how this is all connected? Plus, all of the Iranian terrorist proxies are in Venezuela and Cuba and also on our shores because they're being sent and trained in places like Venezuela. So once you have all of this, then you begin to see the whole picture. And you can come to the conclusion, being anti-war does not mean being anti-strength. We have to be strong. Being pro-peace does not mean tolerating endless destabilization. Sometimes the most peaceful leader is the one most willing to use force decisively, quickly, force that does not become perpetual, force, again, that takes the air out of people who are your enemies, takes the air out of their lungs, and they go, oh my gosh, don't ever do that again. Okay? The test is going to be, does this shorten conflict or seed the next generation of conflict? And only history can, no pundit, no, not me, nobody else can answer that. They all have their opinions. You don't know what this is going to cause. And I said to the TV all weekend long, neither do you, Jack. Neither do you. Right now, our job is to think clearly enough that when history does have the answer, we recognize why.